Yes. Unless you need me to.
This one, YouTube.
Put the organization meeting in January, but I don't think so.
Should I not have put this on?
Yeah. Awesome. No, they're good.
You just wait a couple
It has a good.
We did it in full screen, but.
That's how the frying pan and the fire.
Yeah. Okay.
I just can't do it.
Why she says it's my stream like there? Okay. And recording. Okay. All right, boom box is ready to go.
We're ready to go. Oh.
The house is so sticky.
Yeah, I remember the stumbling around when we first started doing all, oh my goodness. We probably got 15, 20, 25 minutes late starts trying to get everything to work. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen and fellow commissioners. I call this meeting of the Bend Landmarks Commission for this December 19th, 2023 to order. Let's see, we are online as well as live. Do we have anybody online yet?
So she's in the full screen, so I can't see the list. Can you see? And so there's two attendees, Lisa and Nick Murray. I think Nick is an audience member and Lisa is watching, so, okay, we have two listed. Yes, we have two.
We have two people online. Okay, thank you very much. That lets me know that we'll need to work with them as well. Whoever you are online, welcome to the meeting. Thank you. Call to order, roll call, Jim Roberski.
Yes.
Here. Tom.
Here.
Andy.
Here.
Derek.
Here.
Kathy.
Here.
Heidi Slaybaugh.
Here.
And myself. I am here as well. So all commissioners are accounted for. First thing on the agenda is comments from the public. Is there anyone in the room who would like to make a comment on any topic they choose? As long as it's not a item on the agenda. Seeing nobody jumping up. The online folks, is there anyone who would like to make a comment on any? Okay, on any topic? No hands are up? All right, well then we'll move on the agenda. Approval of the minutes of November 2023 draft minutes. I'm assuming everybody had an opportunity. Everyone had an opportunity to read over the draft minutes. Are there any suggested changes or anything that needs to change in the minutes?
There was a typo.
Okay.
There is a typo, okay.
I think recuse, it was spelled REQUISE. I think it should be RECUSE.
We can go ahead and blame that on smart.
I think it doesn't change the meaning of.
Doesn't that like that? That's fine, we can certainly do that. Did you find the spot?
Yep.
Okay, then I will accept thank you, to accept the minutes as amended.
So moved.
Moved and seconded to accept the minutes from the draft minutes from November 2023 as presented and amended. All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Hearing none, so moved. The amendments are accepted. We have one public hearing, one proposal tonight, and that is public hearing for PLHIS 202305552. Okay. This is a de novo hearing and is an initial evidentiary hearing of PLHIS 202305552. This application is a request for a new construction, a type 3 historic new construction, a 503 square foot new construction at 316 Northwest Delaware. The applicant has the burden of proving that he or she is entitled to the approval sought. The applicable criteria for this application include the Bend Urban Area Comprehensive Plan, Chapter 3, and Chapter 10.2 Historic Preservation Code, and the Secretary of Interior standards for the treatment of historic properties. Our procedures will go like this. Testimony and evidence at this hearing must be directed toward the criteria set forth in this staff report or other criteria in the Bend General Plan or Bend Development Code that you believe is applicable, or any other criteria in the National Register of Historic Places program that any person believes apply to this decision. Failure on the part of any person to raise an issue with sufficient specificity to afford the landmarks commissioners and parties to this proceeding an opportunity to respond to the issues precludes appeal to the City Council or Land Use Board of Appeals on that issue. Additionally, failure of the applicant to raise constitutional or other issues relating to the proposed conditions of approval with sufficient specificity to allow the Landmarks Commission to respond to the issue precludes an action for damages in circuit court. Our order presentation will be like this. The staff will give a report. The applicant will then have an opportunity to offer testimony and evidence. Proponents of the application will then be given a chance to testify and present evidence. When all proponents have testified, opponents to the appeal or to the proposal will then be given a chance to testify and present evidence. After both proponents and opponents have testified, the applicants will be allowed to present rebuttal testimony, but may not present new evidence. At the Landmarks Commission's discretion is if the proponents presented new evidence on rebuttal, opponents may be recognized for a rebuttal presentation. At the conclusion of this hearing, the staff will be afforded an opportunity to make any closing remarks or comments. The commission may limit the time period for presentation. Continuances before the close of any hearing, any person has the right to request an opportunity to present additional evidence, argument, or testimony regarding the application. If the hearing is continued or the record left open, the applicant shall also be allowed at least 7 days after the record is closed to all other parties to submit final written arguments with no new evidence in support of the application. Pre-hearing contacts, biases, conflicts of interest. Do any of the commissioners have any ex parte contacts, prior hearing observations, biases, or conflicts of interest to declare? If so, please state the nature and extent of those. Commissioners? Nothing?
I looked at the property today.
Okay, do you feel that looking at the property would prevent you from ruling on the evidence of the? Okay, thank you. Does any party wish to challenge any commissioner based on ex parte contacts, biases, or conflicts of interest? Hearing none, we will proceed. Okay. Beth, presentation.
Okay. Good evening. I'm Beth LaFleur, Senior Planner with the City of Bend, and this is PLHIS 2023-0552, a new construction at 316 Northwest Delaware Avenue. It's for a new accessory dwelling unit. So the subject property is located near the corner of Northwest Delaware and Northwest Sizemore in the 300 block of Delaware. The applicant is proposing to construct a new detached accessory dwelling unit, or ADU, in the northwest corner of the property. As of this evening at 6 p.m., no written or emailed public comments have been received. The existing single-unit dwelling is a craftsman bungalow and is classified as a contributing resource in the Old Town Historic District. The historic name is the John and Sadie Case House, and it was constructed in 1919. Similar to the primary structure and those in the district, the ADU will have a front porch with a hip roof, 512 cross gable roof form, exposed rafter tails, and 2-foot eaves. Siding is proposed to be of wood lap to match the primary structure, with windows to be of aluminum clad wood sash in a combination of 4/1 and 2 fixed 6-light windows in the gable ends. The east facing door will be a wood double door, while the south facing door will be aluminum clad wood. The window and door trim will be 5/4 by 6 inch, and windows will have 2 by 3 inch sills. One item I'd like to mention is the way the door trim is drawn. It's the applicant's intention to have the trim about the entire door frames down to the threshold. This was clarified by email, which is uploaded to the application file, but it can also be made a specific condition of approval if you'd like it to be crystal clear. So here we've got the south facing elevation, or the south elevation, which faces the rear of the existing single unit dwelling. This is the west elevation facing the west property line. And this is the north elevation adjacent to the alley. It is a bit unusual to have a dwelling unit with an elevation with no openings. However, it is typical to have accessory structures along the alleys to have 0 or very limited openings, doors or windows abutting the alley. I took some photos of the abutting alley, and here, oh yeah, okay. So the subject property backyard is right here. This is the alley entrance off of Sizemore. And as you can see, these accessory structures are located right on the property lines of the alley. And on both sides, very few doors, certainly no windows in the doors, if there are doors or windows in those accessory structures. And looking on the other side in the 200 block of Delaware along the alley, again, we see accessory structures with no walls or doors abutting the alley. So in this situation, it wouldn't be that unusual to have an accessory dwelling unit have no windows or doors abutting the alley. This is the proposed ADU as viewed from the front or the northwest Delaware. It would be visible for about a 5.5 foot width behind the primary structure. It would be further obscured by an existing side yard fence. And moving on to the criteria for approval, I'm not going to go into every single one, but as detailed in the staff recommendation, staff recommends the commission find that the proposed detached ADU meets the first criteria for approval and will be compatible with the appearance and character of the historic district. And the second criteria is that the proposal is consistent with the design review criteria of BC 1020.130, which includes siting, landscaping, building height, building massing, proportion, scale, and exterior features. And again, as detailed in the staff recommendation, staff recommends the commission find that the design review criteria of BC 10.20.130 are met. And so based upon the application material uploaded into the city view file, PL HIS 2023-0552 between September 26th and November 26th, 2023, staff recommends the Landmark Commission finds that the application meets the applicable review criteria and approve the proposal for the construction of the detached ADU as proposed at 316 Northwest Delaware, subject to the conditions that 1, the applicant shall submit a standards details checklist to the planning division for review and approval with submittal of any building permits for the proposed buildings, changes required by the building division and prior to any exterior remodeling. And as required by the building division, the applicant shall obtain all required building permits prior to any construction work. And again, this suggested condition of third condition of approval would be that the door trim about the length of the door frames.
Any questions for staff? amendment commissioners? No, no questions, no questions, no questions? Okay, thank you for your report. Then we will have presentation, from our applicant. Come on forward and state your name, we'll put it on the record. And you have visuals to go up on the screen?
I don't think so. I think it's all here.
Okay, all righty. And go ahead and state your name.
My name is David Lutz. My wife Jennifer and I are the homeowners at 316 Northwest Delaware.
Okay, thank you. There you go. Okay. Do you have a presentations things you'd like to say to the commission first?
Well, I'd just like to share that, thank you, Beth, for helping put everything together. It's my first time through this and it was interesting and a lot of fun to do it. And I want to thank you all for coming out on a rainy night so close to the holidays. I know it's so much going on, so and everyone's here, so I really appreciate that. My wife and I are excited for this opportunity. It's been fun to put the plan together and match the house and it's going to be great for us and for our family how we plan to use the space. And I just look forward to any questions that may arise here or in the public. And that's.
Are there any questions then for? Go ahead. Heidi?
I have two clarifications. One was the design of the front door. What's drawn in the drawing elevation perhaps doesn't match what's in the cut sheet, but the door style wasn't like circled or highlighted in the cut sheet. So if you could just clarify, when is it it seemed like in the drawing elevation, it was maybe a 9 light door with a small panel on the bottom, but the cut sheets kind of showed a more traditional. It was even 12 light, I don't know. Just what door are we getting?
I believe it is a 9 light, but it definitely has the panel at the bottom, all wood and true divided line. This is the double door exiting to the east, right? Yeah.
Mhm. Okay, I can pull it up here because I didn't find it. Yeah, if you would give that.
I recall the cut sheet might just be representative of one panel that we would of course order in 2, so that's a little confusing.
Well, there were a lot of different
Yeah.
configurations on that cut sheet, so I just wanted to make sure. Know which one we're getting. While she's pulling that up, on the landscape plan, my second question, I didn't see any landscaping on the north or west sides of the ADU.
Well, yeah, I don't think we had considered it yet, maybe just gravel, something, just functional.
Yeah, I don't know that it's necessary, especially butting in alley, but I just noticed that there's just white space, so I think it needs to be addressed what is happening with the ground cover in that area.
Mhm.
If it's gravel, then we just need to know
Yeah,
what
all-
size and what color and
Okay.
that kind of stuff.
I have a question to dovetail that, on the landscape plan. It said that there's a white picket fence not built by me or not built by us.
Yeah.
What does that mean?
That's the designer. Makes perfectly clear that we're not building this fence.
Okay.
And I think that we started that, the front landscaping, and then we kind of paused it while we were working on what we wanted to do. We bounced ideas back and forth. And then I think if we extended it to the backyard, but my understanding is not even necessarily required to be approved as part of this process. Because that might be, I don't know if it's finalized.
Thanks.
Other questions?
Fencing does need to be
Yes,
reviewed.
right.
By
Before
landmarks.
we did it, but I don't think it's necessarily approved as part of the planning approval for the actual.
For the ADU.
Yeah.
Yeah, no,
It's trying slowly.
still working on it, okay.
In the meantime. My computer, I'll show it, it's this one, right? The panel down
Mhm.
there.
Yep.
Okay, I just do that. Okay. So it's this door here with the panel. Okay.
And that will be the double door.
Yes.
Uh-huh, yeah.
And on the south side, it's clad.
Yeah.
Panel.
Okay, so it does match the elevation, perfect. Thank you, Dan. We're just waiting for you to sit down.
Yeah. Things go slowly in my opinion. I'm assuming that all the windows are aluminum wood clad. And as well as the doors.
The south facing door is aluminum clad wood. The east facing door is all wood.
It's all wood,
Mhm.
okay. On the footprint, on the landscape plan. I can't tell if that's a tree that's next to the ADU that would be on the. Can't tell which side, or if that's a bush that's sitting there.
That's directly close to the ADU.
Yeah,
Yeah, that's kind of a tree bush, mostly dead.
oh, it is.
Yeah, it's small tree.
Okay, so it's going to come out?
Yeah.
Okay, so that'll come off of there anyway. All right. That's. It seems to me that all of the setbacks are kosher. The height of the ADU was, what was it, 14 feet?
14 feet.
Yeah, 14.
And I don't remember, but what was the height of the original house?
I'll have to look at the plan, but it's like a 16, something like that,
Okay, so,
which I can do easily.
so we're about 2 feet
Yeah.
below
Yeah.
down.
It's proportional because it's a smaller structure.
Okay, good, good. Any other questions then for our applicant? Heidi, go ahead.
Where are you providing parking?
We have a driveway. One of the few houses, I think, in the neighborhood that has a driveway. We have a driveway with a already pre-cut curb.
Okay, I didn't. Okay, just out off the front.
Mhm.
And then any parking for the ADU off the alley?
Not needed anymore, right?
There's the alley.
Right. No more parking. On
site.
Needed
No,
I mean,
versus required.
required.
Right.
Yes.
right, okay.
I think I saw only one exterior light fixture, other than the recessed lights. Is that? To your recollection?
Yeah, two recessed on the porch, east facing porch, and then an exterior fixture on the south facing exit door.
Okay, so only, yeah, really only, that Home Depot cut sheet on the, okay, so just a single light. That cut sheet, is that light made out of metal? It's not made out of plastic, is it?
I believe it's metal.
Okay, all right. No problem.
Okay, no problem. All right. Any other questions? No. Any other questions? No, no?
I just want to say this is an amazing application for, proposal for this district, so. It's,
Oh, yeah.
it's so small and matches your existing house, and I was super excited to see this application.
And it fits into the neighborhood and I I appreciate that. Then is there anyone who would like to come up and speak in favor of the proposal? Is there anyone online who would like to speak in favor of the proposal? No? Okay, then is there anyone out there who would like to speak against the proposal?
No hands are being raised.
And then nobody online has a hand raised as well?
There's
Okay.
one person online.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Lutz. Then, wow. Staff? Beth, anything else?
No, I have nothing else.
Okay, all right, then we will declare the public hearing closed. Quick comments before I call for I lost that again. Motion, thank you.
I'll go first, Mr. Chair. I back Heidi in the fact that this is a an appropriately sized ADU in the Old Town District and fan. So that's the gist of it. And from there, we can go into discussion, but
Yeah.
it's nice to see.
Kathy, comments?
I found it to be consistent with the entire neighborhood, the size of the ADU, and there are innumerable of units back in there. Particularly in corners and consistent in looks.
Yeah. Okay, thank you. Tom? Comments?
Seems like a very straightforward proposal, no issues with massing or height. So I think it's appropriate for that site.
Okay. Jim, how about you?
Yeah, I concur with the other commissioners' comments so far. I mean, my only angst when I saw the initial application was that north elevation facing
Yes.
the alley, just because of my continuing, I guess, advocacy for alleyways as livable spaces. Would have liked to have seen more activity in that elevation, but given what I saw of the rest of the alley,
Yeah.
the only suggestion I'd make at this point in terms of landscape was, maybe a rose trellis or two on that north elevation. Something just, it might spur the neighborhood into, your neighbors into beautifying the alley a bit.
Maybe even paint.
Otherwise, no, I think, Heidi, you asked my questions about parking and other things, so I'm perfectly happy. I'm just trying to drag this out, so we don't make a record of getting out early anywhere. So,
There's nothing wrong with having put landmark commission meetings. Heidi, anything else?
Yeah, I agree with Jim here. My only question originally was the lack of, voids, solids to voids on that north elevation, and staff did a great job at addressing that. So I would agree with staff's recommendation or suggestion of adding that condition number 3 to extend the door trim down past the water table. And I would also suggest that another condition of approval is that the landscape plan addresses the west and north sides of the ADU.
Okay, well, we'll put those in the motion. Any, how about you?
Yeah, the overall size and massing of it is fine. I guess the only possible thing I'd like to bring up for discussion is whether these gable overhangs, whether we should consider adding knee braces to the gable overhangs. So I live in this neighborhood. It's a long tradition of sagging gables in our neighborhood. When we built our house, I didn't know much, but we like flat 2x4s that basically hold up the gable and so it doesn't sag. And we did not include knee braces on our, backyard facing elevation. The knee braces on gables are, I guess, traditional. And I'm just interested in, especially maybe the architects in the panel that would be interested in the vernacular and whether. Yeah, is it appropriate for some overhangs and not others?
The thing, now this building will be made probably with trusses. And so that portion of the roof is actually engineered as opposed to, 100-year-old homes that were 2x4 construction, so they would sag. It's a pretty low slope roof and it's only a 16-inch overhang. I don't think they'll run into that, but architecturally, most craftsmen do have knee braces. In new construction, they are predominantly decorative.
Yeah.
At this point, because all the roof framing is pre-engineered.
Is the fascia on the eave, sorry if I'm using the wrong architectural term. Is that what you call it, the fascia beam that comes out, that's not part of a truss, has to be supported by something?
Yeah.
And
Flat 2x4.
flat 2x4, yeah. I guess, do we care? Does anybody, I guess I'm probably fine not mandating this and not mandating fancy raptor tails or anything. But, it's just something that we haven't really decided on, whether that vernacular of other historic properties should be matched.
Okay. Okay. All right, it seems to me that there are a couple of additional conditions of approval that are possible in a motion. So if those do come in, then the motion will have to